Hi all, I'd like to share my Bizad charity run 10 km experience that I did on 11 January 2025 at 4 p.m. I'm only sharing this now because the results were released earlier this week, so it was quite late, but let's get down to it. So the weather conditions were light and moderate rain, which I initially thought that the race would be cancelled under the weather conditions, but they just decided to host it. And there was no choice, like you just run through the weather. It was very cooling, but at the same time annoying because the floor was pretty wet. It's pretty hard to run. And yeah, let's get down to the route. The route involved a lot of sharp turns, including crossing a zebra crossing at least 4 to 5 times throughout the race, as well as going through the underpass twice, followed by numerous hills even towards the final last km. The rainy weather also made it difficult to run fast downslope due to the slippery surface. One of the downslopes lead up to a zebra crossing junction, which I actually saw like a car just waiting for us to run through, and I think it's quite dangerous because there's quite a number of zebra crossing junctions, and the cars could actually go past. I'll get into detail on this shortly. Okay, so for my overall experience of the race itself, I arrived fairly late due to the wet weather making it tough to get on the buses, but I was able to collect my beat and deposit my bag without any issues. There were several ways for the 10k race. If I'm not wrong, there are at least like 3 waves in total, and each wave goes out in 5 minutes. I decided to go for the second wave since the first wave was crowded, and I was also unfamiliar with the route. Starting out, I ran a short bend, which eventually led to a sharp turn. While making this sharp turn, I felt my feet experiencing a sharp pain, but that quickly disappeared. Before the first km, I caught up to the first runner of the wave. The second km was challenging as I had to overtake a number of runners from wave 1 who were blocking my path of entry. It also didn't help that this involved running through an underpass. The third km involved running a lap on the track, and this was my favourite segment of the run as I felt very smooth when I was running through the track. And throughout the run, it was especially difficult to make overtakes due to the nature of the road not being blockaded, unlike the old BZ charity run 2016 which I last ran. There were several points I had to run on the road and a couple of times where I had to run through the grass. But it became worse towards the end when I stepped full knee onto a puddle at the 7 km mark when trying to overtake 3 runners at the same time on the pavement. The race did not get any easier even at the end. There was a long hill where I felt my pace slip sharply. I persevered and ran up the hill behind another runner. The runner suddenly stopped to walk, possibly due to fatigue, blocking my path of entry, and I had to quickly beckon him to move off as I was about to collide into him. The final stretch included going up short steps, though not as long as the BZ charity run in 2016, and going through another underpass and making a sharp turn. I managed to came across a fast runner and decided pace with him for close to 1 km. He was running fairly consistently until the U-turn point where I caught up to him. He was visibly tired, so I encouraged him to push on. And the final stretch was a steep 300-meter downslope, which I used to surge until the end, coming in with a time of 41.57 and a distance of 9.85 km based on my watch. For the overall grading of this race, I give it a 2 out of 5. Unfortunately, I'm grading this a lot lower since I felt that the road wasn't blockaded like in the old BZ charity run in 2016. It made overtaking very tedious as you are effectively running on a 1.5-person spacing walkway. Too many turns also. I didn't recall that many turns in the previous race. The final distance completed is also under 10 km. As for the overall effort, it's much harder than running my 15 km all out on the track. I would say it's somewhere around 18 km to half marathon effort. My legs hurt more than the recent 15 km run as I mentioned earlier. But I was nowhere close to cramping up, so that's the beauty of like running a hill run but 10 km. For this race in particular, I recommend it for folks wanting to experience trail running, a hilly route, and because it's a hilly route and there's a lot of changes in the terrain. A season opener race, because there are no other races in January except the CNY Quibi run, which is a lot more expensive. And if you want to run a cheap race to save money, I think it only costs like around $40+ for public participants. I don't recommend this race for those who are aiming for a PB and like running on flat surfaces. My closing words for this race is that I almost got knocked down a couple of times by incoming vehicles and also running side by side to a bus. All of this could have been avoided if the road is blockaded. For such a race, I believe the road should be blocked and like the old 2016 race. And since this is not a very safe run, I only recommend this to very experienced runners. Otherwise, yes, there's a lot of risk in taking part of this race. Alright, that's all from me and see you guys next time.